Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Enabling Arts. My name is Franz. I'm the owner here. I'm so excited to have you all in the space. So excited to be here celebrating art. So thank you all for coming. And thank you all for being here. Some housekeeping things. If anyone needs to go to the bathroom at any point, it's just in that corner over there. It is a single stall, so just... yeah, if it's closed, there might be someone in there. Just do bathroom things in the bathroom, and then no one has to worry about anything or ask questions. If you need to take breaks or anything, you're welcome to take care of yourself as needed. But just being mindful that the door does make a little beeping sound. So if someone's in the middle of a piece or something like that, maybe just wait till afterwards. If you do need to step out, unless it's an emergency, then go for it. I also want to acknowledge that we're on the unceded Coast Salish territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. Going beyond just a land acknowledgement, just trying to figure out what that means for us here in the space. I think particularly having a space here in the downtown east side, it really makes me want to extend grace. We had an external event here a few weeks ago, and I still am thinking about this moment where the organizer kind of made a joke about safety and homelessness that just really didn't sit right with me. And I just want to be like, we all come from stories. This place specifically really centers artists and their stories and making space for people's voices and just taking moments to acknowledge, whose stories we're listening to, whose stories we're platforming. Everyone comes from somewhere and has a truth that brought them to whatever particular moment we are in our lives. And, just trying to bring in some grace into our lives. Safety is important, yes, but safety comes from knowing your neighbor. Safety comes from building community, having moments like this. Oh yes, please come in, please come in. So just... yeah, maybe taking a moment to say hi to someone that you might not know in the space, trying to bridge some connections, because that's really how we decolonize, is working against the systems that make us not want to know each other, that don't want us to use our voices, that don't want us to create art or celebrate art. So yeah, just thinking about that as we leave the space later today. We are here to celebrate art. We're here to celebrate this beautiful artist and their work. So I think a lot of you know them, but I will read their bio so we can get a proper introduction going. I should have asked you before how to pronounce your last name.
Chorabik.
Okay, thank you.
I'm shrug. You can say however you want.
No, I want to get it right. That's also important. Vee Chorabik, MFA, studies queer feminist icons and depicts them in mixed media and gaudy glitter. They're an artist and sensational instructor at Emily Carr University, high school teacher, and run various art workshops around Vancouver. They use art and education as a safe space to express and create for 2S LGBTQIA+ pride and community. Many queer folks feel a lack of spirituality as Western religion has historically oppressed non-cis heteronormative folks. Vee's Sapphic Sanctuary project aims to create a holy space for those of us left on earth after the rapture. Let's take our hands, make some really loving energy, and we're gonna turn that energy into a warm welcome and a roaring round of applause as we welcome Vee and their work to the space.
Hello. So, yes, most of you know me. as Vee, but I'm Sister Sodomy today. So all of you have hopefully picked up your free zine. If you have not, please do so now. Go run, just kidding. You can grab it later. There's a lot of spelling mistakes in it, so sorry, my ADHD ended up creating dyslexia, so it's fine. These things are related, I swear. Yeah, so I'm just gonna read the zine, and then I'll be passing to Julian after I talk about each of the saints, and then afterwards we can have a little Q&A where you can ask me questions because ADHD. Okay, so thank you all for helping create the first iteration of Sapphic Sanctuary. So this is my first time creating this. I've been thinking about it for a while. Actually, the first time I introduced the idea, well, actually it was a couple places. The first time I introduced the idea was at like an illustration class that I was in. And then later I talked about it again at an artist talk, and it just feels like, I don't know, the like snowball just kept like rolling. And then Franz was like, hey, do you have some new work you can show at the gallery? And I was like, yeah, I totally do. And then I was like frantically like, fuck, I need to make some new work. So if you open up this pamphlet, you can see the original sketches for Sapphic Sanctuary. And basically I gave myself this rule, and the rule was that I couldn't go and look at new reference images. I could only use that original sketch, and like the sketches that I made them in like one sitting, and I was like, here's a sketch, it's gonna become something. And then yeah, so then I gave myself the rule that I couldn't look at any other reference photos other than that sketch. And for me it became this idea of like what is an icon? It's almost like a simplification of something, or like your memory of something. So I wanted it to be very, yeah, like simple and cartoonified. So okay, back to the zine. So yeah, thanks Enabling Arts for hosting this first iteration of Sapphic Sanctuary. I do want to keep like delving into these concepts and going further with it. I'm very excited by it. And so yeah, my goal is to create a safe and playful space to explore queer feminist religion and celebrate the holiness in us all. So yeah, all of the saints in some way are either for realsies queer or secretly maybe queer. But they all have some kind of connection to like what I think is like a feminist version of like Christianity. I can talk about that in more detail. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, here we go. Joan of Arc. So she died at 19 years old, which is kind of fucked, let's be real. So she was in France. She was a cross-dressing military leader who defended France with divine guidance. She was burned at the stake for heresy and gender nonconformity, but now she is celebrated as a saint by the very people who executed her. So now she's canonized as a saint, but when she was saying, hey, God is telling me to do these things, God is telling me not to get married, God is telling me that I should be like part of the church and I should be guiding France, everyone's like, fuck you, you're evil, we're gonna set you on fire. And then afterwards they're like, fuck, this bitch was right. And then now they're like, okay, well, now we're gonna call her a saint. So after they kill her, they're like, actually, she was pretty dope. And it's also really interesting, she really believed that her virginity was the reason she could see God. And so she thought if she ever broke that she wouldn't be able to have her visions anymore. But then I've been really researching this idea of like, I don't know, what did it mean to be celibate at that time? And like, what did it mean to like really follow the church? And like, you, as a woman, you didn't really have any options other than like, you get married, then your husband tells you what to do. But if you're like, hey, I'm a virgin and like, I'm gonna do stuff for God, then like, you can do whatever you want. So then she could be this badass military leader. And yeah, that's my summary of that. Okay. You can now do your first poem.
So I have a practice where I'm creating ceremony, performance as ceremony, and I was inspired by Vee to create a Sapphic Saints ceremony, and so part of that was I went and found like liturgy basically, so I found readings for each saint, so that's what I am going to share. So the reading for Joan is from the medieval author Christine de Pizan. Blessed be he who created Joan, who were born at a propitious hour, maiden sent from God, into whom the Holy Spirit poured his great grace, in whom was and is an abundance of noble gifts. Never did Providence refuse her any request. When we take her person into account, she who is a young maiden, to whom God gives the strength and power to be the champion, who casts the rebels down and feeds France with the sweet, nourishing milk of peace, here indeed is something quite extraordinary. You thought you had already conquered France and that she must remain yours. Things have turned out otherwise, you treacherous lot. Go and beat your drums elsewhere unless you want to taste death like your companions, whom wolves may well devour, for their bodies lie dead amidst the furrows.
Okay, the next saint in the series is Hildegard von Bingen. She was a medieval nun in Germany. She was a polymath, so she basically had ADHD and did all the things. You might know her for her music compositions. That's what a lot of people know her by. But yeah, so she was a polymath nun, making holy compositions, poems, and philosophies. She was also a gynecologist who was credited as the first person to publish writing about the female orgasm. Rumor has it also that she may have been a lesbian. There's all these like letters that she was sending. So there was another nun that lived in the same nunnery, I don't know, my brain. But then she got sent away, and then Hildegard was very, very sad and wrote all these sad letters being like, please bring her back. So yeah, she may have been a lesbian. She definitely was a gynecologist, and she also created like a bunch of writing about the universe, and in her writings there are also these like drawings of the universe, and they very much look like vulvas. And so my stained glass is inspired by Hildegard's illuminated manuscript, but then I kind of like simplified it so that I could make a stained glass of it, because if you look it up, her drawing's way too complicated to make into stained glass. Maybe like a master stained glass person, but this was like one of my first attempts at stained glass. So yeah, and I thought the medium would really emphasize this like holiness of it. And then yeah, each of the saints represents a part of the menstrual cycle. So we have Joan of Arc, who represents the period. Then we have Hildegard, who represents the follicular phase where you're like more grounded. And then you have the next one that we'll talk about is Saint Teresa of Avila. We'll talk about her later, but she represents ovulation. And then we have Saint Marsha P who I've put in the luteal phase, also known as PMS. Some people are like, why'd you put her in that one? But I feel like her like having that like wrath and energy to throw the brick in during Stonewall kind of has PMS energy. So, and also she's the most modern or contemporary. She died in 1992, and so it felt like it made the most sense that we would end off on her. But it's like it's not a line, it's more like a circle. So there's not one that starts it. It's they're all three there. Anyway, so Hildegard von Bingen, awesome medieval nun. You should check her out. Just everything about her is dope. Okay, you can do your thing now.
So the other three readings are all from the saints themselves. So this is a writing of Hildegard's. Light. There we go. I am the supreme fire and energy. I, the fiery life of divine wisdom. I ignite the beauty of the plants. I sparkle the waters. I burn the sun and the moon and the stars. I am the one whose praise echoes on high. I adorn all the earth. I am the breeze that nurtures all things green. I encourage blossoms to flourish with ripening fruits. I am led by the Spirit to feed the purest streams. I am the rain coming from the dew that causes the grasses to laugh with the joy of life. I call forth tears. I am the yearning for good. And I awaken all to life with every wind of the air, as with invisible life that sustains everything. For the air lives in greenness and fecundity. The waters flow as though they are alive. The sun also lives in its own light, and when the moon has waned, it is rekindled by the light.
All right, the next saint is Teresa of Avila. She was born in 1515 and died in 1582, Spain. For Teresa, the bodily form of Christ was important. Moreover, our own bodily pains and pleasures are equally important. She has a sculpture of her depicted in a church in Rome that immortalizes a wet dream she had. I'm not even making this up, like, please look this up. It's called Ecstasy of Saint Teresa. And I'm like, how is this in a church? But okay. So she had a dream that this angel came to her and pierced her, and she was just like in divine ecstasy. And she's like, this is why God gave me a body. It's to experience pleasure. So she is like, she's known as the saint of pleasure. So she was the obvious choice for ovulation, like, just like truly. So yeah, my painting is based off of that wet dream of hers. And when I painted the angel, I kind of wanted it to almost blend in with the background, like sort of, but not really. But it's almost like he's there, but he's not there, because it's like more of her imagining. So yeah, it's her experience of like the pleasure God wanted her to have. So we have bodies so we can be sexy. Anyway, that's what Teresa of Avila wanted you to know. A woo.
We have bodies so we can be sexy. Awoo. Correct. Absolutely, that's why. Yeah, so then again, Teresa, this is from her own writings. I saw in his hand a long spear of gold, and at the iron's point there seemed to be a little fire. He appeared to me to be thrusting it at all times into my heart, and to pierce my very entrails. When he drew it out, he seemed to draw them out also, and to leave me all on fire with a great love of God. The pain was so great that it made me moan, and yet so surpassing was the sweetness of this excessive pain that I could not wish to be rid of it. The soul is satisfied now with nothing less than God. The pain is not bodily but spiritual, though the body has its share in it. It is a caressing of love so sweet which now takes place between the soul and God, that I pray God of his goodness to make him experience it, who may think that I am lying.
See, come on, that was a wet dream. Let's be real. And then the final saint, she hasn't been canonized by all of the churches, but there are some churches that do consider her a saint. So Marsha P. Johnson, 1945 to 1992, United States. While the three previous saints have been canonized, she is informally known as Saint of Christopher Street. She is a 2S LGBTQIA+ icon, important for her role in the Stonewall riots, transgender rights movement, and her advocacy for people with AIDS. She also, something I just told a few of you, but the first and last saint were both, I'm gonna say murdered. The first one was executed, and then the last one, people originally, like the police said, oh, she committed suicide, but then all of her friends were like, this makes no sense. Like she was not depressed. None of that checks out. But she was very vocal about like queer rights, and then her body was found in a river. And and like the police still just say this is like inconclusive, but it's pretty obvious that something bad happened to her. So yeah, I also think it's kind of important. It feels like important that the saints that kind of, I don't know, like bookmark this have had these like violent experiences done upon them. So I don't know. This is a thought. This is ADHD. Here you go.
And then the final reading of, oh, no, that was the right page, of Marsha's is again a poem that she herself wrote. It's called, this is the only thing of these that has a title, it's called Lavender Balloon. I have a lavender balloon. I'm going to blow it up quite soon. It's going to take me to the moon. I'm simply waiting for a tune. Together we'll fly away. We're going to float right through the day. We're going to drift right through the night. Together we'll be out of sight.
Okay, so the last part about this zine is how we do our prayers. So here I've sort of explained how we end our prayers. So we don't say amen. We're gonna scratch men out of it. So we write it as a w, but we're gonna pronounce it a woo for the furries, of course. Of course. And the way that we do it is in tits we pray. So you have to do it like this. Are you joining me?
Oh, I was gonna hold the mic.
Oh, you can hold the mic?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay, thank you. So we're all gonna do this together. So you're just gonna put your hands here, and then you're gonna say a woo while you jiggle your titties. A woo! You have all now been put part of this cult. What? I mean, this is not a cult. There was one more thing I was gonna do, and now I forgot because we were weird. No, something before the Q&A. Oh, RD. RD, do you want to talk about tits and Jesus? Do you want to come onto the stage?
I mean, sure, yeah.
There was one more thing I was going to do. So, this Sapphic Sanctuary concept has actually roots dating back to high school times. RD is my long-term high school friend.
Yes.
And you're going to
Oh
talk
my God,
about...
my ass doesn't fit in this chair.
Do you want to be in this chair?
No, I think it's better that it doesn't fit in this chair.
Okay, so tell us about tits and Jesus.
What do you want to know about it?
Just whatever you want to say. You're put on the spot.
Do you want to know about the strip club
Yeah, do
idea?
it.
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna break this chair. So I've known Vee since we were 16, 15, 16?
15, 16.
15 or 16, and we started in art class, and we had a lot of ideas in art class, as you can imagine.
As one does.
As one does. And I don't know if this happened in art class or when we lived together in university.
I think you were just driving me one day.
Probably. We had this idea that it would be really cool to have a church that turned into a strip club where on Sundays it was, God, but all other days stripping nuns. And that's how it started. But I really feel like what it really has evolved into is this beautiful representation of like a queer platonic friendship of decades. It's the idea that, I mean, I'm tits, I don't know if you can tell. The holiness, Jesus,
I'm
of
Jesus.
course. And when we were in university, and I was, of course, studying feminist literature, as one does in their first year of university, I came to the conclusion I did not want to be called a woman. I wanted to be called a wo, because I didn't need no man. And that is a little bit of where a woo comes from. And all of these tenets have just evolved through our friendship, and I believe there might be people indoctrinated into this cult at this point.
Our followers.
But really what it's all about, Tits and Jesus is just all about finding your sanctuary in queer, platonic, romantic, whatever it might be, a queer space that is just loving community, and how that in itself can be its own religious experience. But yeah, do you have questions about that? Sorry.
So now we're in the Q&A section.
Do you want me to leave for that part?
I don't know.
Do you have any questions about tits?
Do we pass the mic around? Is this ADHD?
I can project. I got a question.
Yes.
So did the tits and Jesus ever combined to Jesus with tits?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I knew we were going to get a tattoo.
I have a drawing of Jesus with tits. It was on my door in my last building for like the whole time I lived there. I don't know where that drawing is, but maybe I should go back and redraw it. Yes. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Not a question. I love being here. It was an accident, a happy accident that I turned out being here. I'm so glad. So what you mentioned about the whole community part of it in the church, actually, I don't know if you guys know about Gina's. It's a queer space. Every Sunday we have karaoke and we call it our church. And we have built a community there. Every Sunday we have the same group of people coming over and we help each other through difficult times. So it's very beautiful. And I mean, I come from a very religious Catholic background. The owner as well, she's from Mexico. So when I started like calling it a church, we all like, okay, we have to.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, of course, bring this Sunday.
Please
and
do. You can bring a few more to share.
Absolutely. I know they're gonna love it.
Do
And I
it.
invite you all to come for karaoke every Sunday, 6:30 p.m.
All right. I think I'm in.
Absolutely. They're gonna love this, I'm sure.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Tell us about making the stained glass. Where'd you go to do that?
Yeah, okay, so if anyone knows, there's a place called Maker Labs, and they have a bunch of different things there, and so the person, Corrine, who helped me make those, her place is called Awesome Sauce Studios. She's like not part of Maker Labs, but part of Maker Labs. But yeah, if you type in stained glass Vancouver, she's like the first person who comes up. She's really cool. I had like so much anxiety while I was making it. I cut my hands so many times. That is filled with my blood, swear to God. But she was very patient, and like when I pitched the project to her, we're like, oh, it's probably gonna take like a month or so. But then I was part of this like crazy jury duty, which by the way, jury duty. And it was all happening during this time. And so it took me like over 2 months to do it because it was pure chaos. But it felt, okay, very little thing about jury duty. It was also for a sexual assault case. So it was like really intense. And I felt like making this stained glass while that was happening felt like an omen for
It
it.
was for 7 sexual assault cases. I feel
Yeah,
like that
it was
tried.
really intense. I don't know how much people want to hear, but it was really intense.
Brutal.
It was really bad. If people want to talk about it afterwards, but I don't, yeah.
Maybe not the whole.
No, we don't have to go into it. But yeah, so she was very patient and awesome. So yeah, Corinne, Awesome Sauce Studios, Maker Labs. That's who helped me make it. Other questions?
What are some of the other things that you've imagined for the like future of this Sapphic Sanctuary?
I feel like I imagine curtains. Like drapery. I saw this piece, I can't remember the artist's name, Ferez, I don't know. Basil, okay, I'm not gonna guess names, we're not going there. Someone at Vancouver Art Gallery, you may have seen it. There were these like blue kinds of fabric, and then they were like pierced with holes, and there was light coming through. And it was, yeah, that piece was like so inspiring, and it was really like dark and intense. Basically, it was about, so when people had slaves, they would like throw women overboard if they were like pregnant, because they're like, this slave isn't worth my time. And so that installation was about like kind of this story that came from that, where there would be like this goddess underwater who would like protect the women and children who were like thrown overboard. And yeah, the way that that person made their installation was like when I went in there, I was just like, I didn't even know what it was about at the first, but it immediately like hit you as like, oh, this feels like this like, yeah, this like really intense space, but it also felt safe, but it also felt like, yeah, all these different things. So yeah, maybe my future iterations would have curtains.
Have you imagined any pieces with all of the saints interacting?
I
Or
do.
any additional saints? Or...
Okay, yes, both of those. Okay, all of them interacting. I'm imagining like, so I want to make like a triptych like that you can open up, like a.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Art history.
Yes, exactly, art history. Let's go. So I want to make like a wooden triptych that opens up, and it'd be in like a shape. I'm imagining. Okay, I can draw it, but okay, shape. And then I do imagine those 4 saints in it, but they're interacting because right now they're all kind of like stiff and not interacting. But I imagine it as something that can like open and close and it becomes like a little altar. So that's something I definitely want to work on. And then other saints, okay, concept. Local drag kings, queens things. I already have 2 in the room here that I would definitely want to paint. So yeah, that's a future concept. I think there was another question. Yeah.
Have you considered using actual gold leaf for someone? Because I'm just thinking that's like gold paint.
Yeah.
But it just immediately made me think of like that painting of Madonna from the Renaissance, where it was just all the gold leaf.
I do think I want to do gold leaf. I also think I want to add like stupid glitter. I want to find the balance between is this fine art or is this just stupid? Complimentary. So yeah, I think these feel like they're like 90% done. Like I feel like I want to add those things either here or in future iterations. I like the idea of like, yeah, gold leaf or just like an insane amount of glitter or something that needs to happen. I agree.
Gold leaf and glitter.
Agreed. More is better. What? I also was thinking of bedazzling.
Yes,
I know,
rhinestones.
rhinestones. I know, all of these thoughts. But I was in a time crunch.
I know, but it's there.
Future iterations.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the idea of plywood or the surface that is not canvas would be a great idea.
Yeah.
It goes also with the flatness of the stained glass.
Yeah, and then it could make different shapes.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing an installation in an actual church?
Yes. I also, okay, so I made all these pamphlets. I'm calling them pamphlets, not zines. And one of my goals is to go to every church in Vancouver and just put them there. A woo.
There's some pretty queer-centric churches that might be down.
I think so too. But I also want to do in the non-queer central
Oh,
spaces.
that's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Were there any saints that didn't make the cut for this project?
Not necessarily. Like, for some reason, these just like fit and they hit. And I was like, okay, these are the ones for this. I can bring other saints later. I think Wes mentioned a saint. I'm like, you're not allowed to talk about new things right now. I was like, I need to focus on this, please and thank you. I don't remember which one you mentioned. Or whatever. It's fine.
Is there any saint in particular you identify with?
I think Joan of Arc, I accidentally made her into a self-portrait. I think that was maybe an accident, but also maybe not. Also, I've been sword fighting, and I was like, I literally started sword fighting. I'm like, this is for my art practice, so I can embody Joan. And then when I started working on the paintings, I'm like, the only thing I got from months of sword fighting was adding a gorget to her neck. I'm like, her neck would be protected. And I'm like, that's what months of research did.
So these are slightly different than your visual style from before, like from previous paintings that you did. I want to know what made you to go to a different direction. What was the inspiration behind it?
What would you consider my other work to be like? I don't even know.
I mean, the way you paint the cat, let's say.
Okay.
So I think there is a bit of.
Yeah. Well, the cat was done from like a combination of like a photograph and the real cat in my presence, so it feels more like real and tangible. Whereas these ones, because they were like this like simplification or like a sketch from like I had references, then I did a quick sketch then the only thing I was able to use as reference was that sketch. I felt like I was trying to do this like simplifying or like icon or yeah, something like that. Whereas Saint Charlie is real and tangible, so there's more something else. Also, it's more gestural. Like I left a lot of like room and space in that one, whereas I feel like these are still gestural, but there's maybe more like stiffness, and I think it's from that like iconicness that I was going for. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? No. Should I throw the mic at Franz? Should you conclude? I don't know what to do. Wait, there's another question.
Yes. What does the second saint, the Hildegard of Bingen, has in the hand?
Oh, she has like a tablet or something. She's like writing. She's writing her deep thoughts that God is giving her. So the like giant like sun is beaming into her eyeballs. So she's channeling God, and God is channeling her through these like tendrils shooting out of her eyes. Is this a good way to explain my art? Yes. Okay.
I don't think there is any kind of way.
Wait, what?
I don't think there is a right or wrong way. We're not a prestigious 2020 art gallery.
That's fair. Yeah, we're just chill.
Should be.
I think this is the end. I don't. Oh wait, now there's another question.
Have you, is there any plans for you to induct, let's say, Sapphic iconographies from other, say, religions or like cultures into the Sapphic pantheon, for the lack of a better term?
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about, and like, I felt like this was my comfort zone because like I grew up in like a Christian Catholic sort of space, so doing things that felt like they might be potentially like making fun of or having any sort of blasphemy towards them felt like, well, I grew up with this and I was oppressed by some of this, and at some point someone tried to exorcise the demons out of me for reals though. Actually, I came out as bi in high school, and then like actually the church was like, exorcise the demons out of you, and I was like, this is fucked. Anyway, so that's why I feel like I needed to start here. I'm not even making this up. Can confirm. Yeah, so yeah, I felt like starting there made the most sense because that was like the place where I've experienced like pain and stuff, but also like, I don't know, the stories and those things feel like they are part of me in some way. And yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that. And it's something that I have been thinking about.
Have you considered incorporating VeggieTales anywhere?
My sketchbook has weird VeggieTale drawings where I don't know why, but Trump became Bob, like the tomato, and then Elon Musk became like Larry. I don't know. So there's weird sketches that exist, but I don't know. I have been thinking about VeggieTales though. No, they are not fucking. I'm sorry. Okay.
So, like with the fashion, with each of them, you kind of kept it contemporaneous to their time, by the look of it, or like the iconography, you know, what art has depicted them as. So if you were to have them all in the same, and the background too is kind of ambiguous as far as time goes. So if you had them all in the same space, would you change their attire or the background?
I don't know.
This is too soon. I'm sorry.
No, this is a good question. No, I like that. That's a good question. Yeah, also, what would Joan look like modern day?
I know, right?
Probably hot.
Like combine them all at different times.
Like she could go into the
like
past.
one of each of their times when they're all together. Like
Okay, that's so cute. Okay, I'll be thinking about this.
Okay. Sorry.
Do you remember the MDMA of Saint Teresa when we talked about?
What?
Do you remember the MDMA of Saint Teresa?
MDMA?
I don't know what's going on.
We talked about the MDMA of Saint Teresa. It's her as like a rave girl.
I don't remember this.
She would be though.
No.
Okay.
Sister Sodomy, tell us. There's no questions about the fact that you dress as sisters on me. Is this like a religious garb for the not cult?
Yes, this is religious garb in the making of the not cult. I want to make my own outfit though. This is just some internet outfit, but the hashtag logo, not logo of cross titties, I want that instead of this. Are there more questions?
The cross titties almost kind of looks like top surgery scars.
Dang, I love that. Totally intentional, 100%.
Even if you had boobs and got them removed, you're still welcome there.
I love this. And even if you don't have titties, you can be part of the Tits and Jesus cult. Not cult. Art practice. Club. Club. Okay, I'm throwing the mic away.
I'm gonna pass it back because I do have one last question. We'll leave us on something I've been curious, especially with like the subject matter and thinking about art as a practice. I'm just curious, like, what role ritual plays both in like your creation process, in your imagination process. Yeah, if you can just speak more of like art as a ritual.
I have no idea how to answer that. I feel like, yeah, art is a ritual, life is a ritual. We also have done rituals for Sapphic Sanctuary at the Cherry Grove, which is like the first AIDS memorial, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. And also, I think doing things like going sword fighting is a ritual that helps me like embody the saints. And also when we eat food, we do actually a woo. Like I am indoctrinating those into the not cult. So yeah, it becomes a ritual. And I think like the fact that we've been talking about this concept since high school as a joke.
Almost 20 years.
Like 20. I am not that old. It has not been 20 years.
Almost.
But yeah, I think all of that creates like a ritual. And yeah, daydreaming is also a ritual. Also autism. Autism is a ritual. I literally was saying that what I like about artist talks is that I get to go full autism on people without them being mad at me. Because honestly, I used to obsess about things and people would be like, please stop talking about this subject. And now I become really anxious and I'm like, are you okay with me talking about this? But people here actually paid to listen to this. So like, my autism is being supported. I hope this answered the question.
Awesome, thank you so much, Vee. Can we give one more round of applause for all of us? Thank you all here for being here. You don't have to leave right away. You can stay and chat, mingle, eat some cookies, grab a zine. All the stuff you see back here is also for sale. Most of the stuff is made by local vendors. A lot of folks just like stocking for the very first time in a store, which is cool. If you don't know much about the space, we also have zines on that table that kind of explain what we are and what we do. We are available for bookings if folks are looking for space to do any cool creative things. We got a bunch of fun events coming up, including this week a poetry potluck. We also have another poetry open mic next week. We have a vision board matcha pop-up. So like there's a local cafe called Idle Hours, so they'll be popping up here, and your ticket includes like one free drink with them, and then make some vision boards, collage, make some friends. So ask me questions if you want. I am approachable. My face doesn't make it look so, but I promise I'm not mad. I just have one of those faces. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer questions. If not,
Wait, one more.
yeah.
And I also have a workshop.
Yes. Also, on Saturday, there's a workshop with Vee. Please come, hang out, make some art, draw your own saints, right? That's what we're doing?
Yeah, we're doing our own saints and our own zines. If you only want to do one or the other, you can do one or the other. ADHD energy. We're just gonna bring a bunch of stuff and figure it out.
Yeah, so all the fun things, you can find out more info online or just ask us. Yeah, follow us if you're not already. We have an email newsletter thing. But yeah, we'll just leave it with one more round of applause for Vee.